going on, guys? Brent0331. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the intro. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Holosun Microdot with ACSS Reticle. If you guys have been watching my channel for any amount of time, you know I'm a big fan of the Advanced Commodity Sighting System, or ACSS Reticle. Bruce and I had a very unique opportunity recently. We went out to Las Vegas, Nevada. We met up with Dimitri, who's the creator of the ACSS, and we actually got to shoot with it at not only unknown distances, but all the way out to 800 yards, guys. And this, I'm telling you, the BDCs are spot on. Dimitri puts a lot of time and effort into making sure his math is correct and accurate, all right? And he spends a lot of time out in the desert shooting to test those optics and those BDCs to make sure that they're legitimate. And I'm telling you guys, they're awesome. So much so that there are several versions of Trijicon optics that have ACSS variants in them. And with that being said, though, you don't have to, spend $1,000+ on a Trijicon optic. You can get cheaper alternatives that have variations of ACSS reticles in them, and this is one of them. So this Holosun Microdot, if you're looking at something like this, you're probably looking at a cheaper alternative to something like an Aimpoint. But like I said, this has a variation of the ACSS reticle in it, so you're already actually above what an Aimpoint can offer you in terms of, an Aimpoint's only going to give you a red dot. With this, actually has a variation of the ACSS in it. Is it built as tough as an Aimpoint? No. But it's still a tough little optic, and there's definitely videos out there that have guys torture testing these things. So again, if you're looking for a cheaper alternative to an Aimpoint and you want that extra capability with an ACSS, this Holosun Microdot is the way to go, okay? So in any event, this video is going to be very budget friendly. I have this Microdot here mounted on a Palmetto State Armory AR-15. So literally this whole rifle is a mid-length gas system 16-inch barrel Palmetto State Armory rifle that cost me under $400, all right? And then I have this Holosun ACSS Microdot with a Primary Arms 3X Magnifier. So this is a very budget-friendly package here. And I'm not shooting on anything crazy. I'm not using crazy, match-grade ammunition. Everything's going to be budget-friendly in this video. So I'm going to follow my standard optic review format. First, we're going to look at the nomenclature of the scope, and then we're going to go into talking about the different features of the ACSS reticle. It's a variation of the ACSS reticle inside there. And then we're going to actually do the practical application portion, which we shoot at the 100, the 200, and then we'll do a combat engagement course. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave a comment. Alright guys, so let's talk about the nomenclature of this Holosun ACSS. So it comes with a lower 1/3 co-witness mount. If you want to get something like an absolute co-witness mount, any Aimpoint T1 style mount will work. I also want to mention that I have a Primary Arms 3X Magnifier here, and it's mounted on a GG and G mount. Alright, so on the top here is a big 2 buttons. You have a plus and a minus. That's to increase and decrease the brightness of your reticle. Also, if you hold them both down, it'll turn the optic off completely. One cool feature about this optic is if you have it on and you pick up your weapon or it senses any type of movement in your weapon, it automatically turns on the optic, unless you have it completely off. But if you have it in a standard, normal on status, it'll shut off after so many hours, and then any movement of the optic will turn it back on. So the battery life is set for about 2 years, but the way this thing operates, it'll probably last you a very long time without having to replace it. But the batteries, when it does die, are standard 2032. You can get those at Walmart, Amazon, eBay, or wherever. You can get a whole bunch of them. They're very, very common. At the top here is your elevation knob. On the side is your windage knob. To make adjustments, you unscrew these. And these caps are kind of unique. They actually have the a mechanism to make the adjustments built into the cap. So you literally just fold these over here, get it in the slot, and then you probably can hear the clicks. Very defined, really easy to manipulate, and then the cap itself actually tells you what the adjustment needs to be, or which direction to move to make your respective adjustments. So pretty easy, guys. Screws on and off, stays secure pretty snugly. I never had any issues with these falling off or coming loose or whatnot. Let's see what else we got here. Just to put this thing in perspective on its size. So if you're looking at a ACSS Holosun optic,
you know, you're probably looking at something like a Cyclops, primary arm Cyclops, to see which one you want to go to. As you can see, the Holosun Microdot is significantly smaller than the Cyclops. All right. And then here is a variable scope, all right? It's primary arms, Raptor 8X Platinum model. This just came out, so I'll be doing a scope review on this later on. But you can see that this is significantly longer and bigger than even with the Microdot and 3X magnifier. Also have an ACOG here, so you can see the size comparison. All right, so it's about the same size with the Microdot and magnifier coupled together. So, all right, guys. So this is what the optic looks like. If you want to turn the optic off completely, you just hold down both buttons and it kicks it off. To turn it back on, you either push the plus or minus button, either or, you know, kick on right away. If you leave it in this on position, the optic will turn off on its own after several hours of non-use, and then, like I said, it will reactivate the second it detects any type of motion. To turn off the donut itself, just hold the minus button down for about 3 seconds or so, and there you go, it turns off. You want it back on, same thing, hold the minus down for about 3 seconds, it pops back on. Turn the optic off, just hold down both buttons.
Alright guys, so now let's take a few minutes to talk about the reticle inside the optic, because the Holosun features the Advanced Combined Sighting System, or ACSS reticle. This is what gives the optic the advantage over using a typical red dot. This optic features a slightly different variation of the ACSS reticle than what I've talked about in my previous videos on other primary arms and Trijicon optics that feature ACSS reticles. However, this version of the reticle essentially tailors the reticle to a holographic optic. As with other versions of the ACSS reticle, this reticle is currently set in yards and not meters. There's a new Aurora ACSS reticle coming out soon that will be featured in a Trijicon TA31 optic. That reticle, from what I understand, will be in meters, so if you prefer meters over yards, the future may be bright for you. But for now, this and all other ACSS reticles are in yards. Despite being very minimal in appearance compared to the original ACSS reticle, this reticle actually incorporates many of the same features that the standard ACSS offers. For starters, let's look at the top of this reticle. The large horseshoe in this reticle is designed for very close, quick target acquisition during close quarters battle. This also doubles as what your typical spread of double-aught buckshot pellets from an 18.5 to 20-inch cylinder bore shotgun barrel would be at 25 yards if you're planning on mounting this to a shotgun. When the distance to your target is too much for your CQB horseshoe, you can start utilizing the bullet drop compensation in your reticle. Inside the horseshoe, you have a very small chevron. The chevron is used to engage targets from 100 to 300 yards. The tip of the chevron is used to engage targets at 100 yards. Underneath the tip of the chevron is used to engage targets at 200. And finally, the base of the chevron is used to engage targets at 300 yards. The first dot on your bullet drop compensation is your 400-yard dot, followed by your 500, and lastly, your 600-yard dot. If you don't think you're capable of hitting at this distance, there's video of Dimitri firing out in the deserts of Nevada and hitting out to 600 even without the use of a magnifier. Just like with other versions of the ACSS reticle, this optic has several features that assist with range determination of your target. When talking with Dimitri, he's told me that the two biggest reasons for missed shots during sniper competitions are wind and misjudged range. That's why having a reticle that gives you the ability to gauge distance to your target is a must. So now let's look at a few different ways you can achieve a good estimation of your target using this reticle. This reticle allows you to estimate targets' range by both shoulder-to-shoulder width and by height. The reticle is set for the average adult male's shoulder-to-shoulder width of 18 inches. If your target is at 300 yards, his shoulder-to-shoulder width should line up with the outside edge points of the chevron. At 400 yards, your target shoulder-to-shoulder width should coincide with the inside points of the base of the chevron. Another feature is that your 500-yard dot can actually be used to gauge a target that is 5 inches across at 500 yards. This coincides with the average adult male's head ear to ear at that distance. An additional ranging feature is the ability to range a standing target. Ranging someone by height, in my opinion, is the easiest and most accurate way. This works by going off the average adult male's height, which is 5 feet 10 inches tall. To do this, you simply place the standing target's feet on the baseline, which is the bottom of the 600-yard dot. You would then simply see where your target's head ends up. If your target is taller than the reticle itself, your target will be within 400 yards. If your target's head lines up with the inner point of your chevron, your target is approximately 500 yards away. If your target lines up with the bottom base of your chevron, your target is approximately 600 yards away. Once you have acquired an estimated range to your target, you would simply engage them by using the corresponding portion on your BDC. So moving on from range estimation, I want to go back to the top of the reticle and look back at the chevron. As I mentioned earlier, wind is another major contributing factor for missed shots. The inner points on the base of the chevron will give you a very useful visual reference on where you need to hold for 5 mph crosswind. From there, you can adjust the distance. For instance, if you had an approximate 2.5 mph crosswind, you would just cut the distance in half. If it was 10 mph, you would double the distance. One cool, cheap, and easy method that I learned from Dimitri while shooting with him out in the Nevada desert is he ties a piece of yarn to the end of his rifle to help determine what his wind call will be.
And you could tell from the angle here, we're about a 2.5 to a 3 mile-an-hour wind, blowing full value to the right. So that way I know to hold off, you know, on the left side of the target. If the wind started to get higher up, obviously we're at higher feet per second, so this would be about a 5. At 10 it would start to whip. You would see whipping of the yarn. And you know, super lightweight, waterproof, free of batteries. Just a very easy, quick tip.
Well, that's it, guys. As you can see, if you're very familiar with the original ACSS reticle, you're actually not losing very many features. Now that you guys are familiar with the variation of this reticle, let's go on to the practical application portion of this video and put some rounds downrange. Alright guys, so right 100 yards. This is going to be our first real practical application with this. I've zeroed it pretty good, I think, so we're going to be at 100. First I'm going to shoot using the 3x magnifier, and then I'm going to shoot using the just the Holosun without the magnification. So nothing crazy. I'm going to be using 55 grain Wolf ammunition, all right? Nothing crazy, no match grade stuff or anything like that, all right? And as you guys already know, this is just a bare bones Palmetto State Armory, you know, lower on the price end type AR, so nothing crazy. So let's check this out, guys. 10 rounds, Holosun ACSS, with 3x magnifier. Shooting at the target on the left first. All right, second magazine to 10. Just the Holosun. Magnifier's off. All right, so that was nine rounds. Actually had a misfire there. Let's see if we can try to fire that again. No. Definitely a misfire on the wolf ammo. But you guys can see that primer strike. Let's go down range, check it out. All right, guys. So that was 100 yards, 10 rounds each target. This one was with the magnifier. This one was without the magnifier. So for whatever reason, I seem to be shooting better without the magnifier. We'll see if that holds true at the 200. Well, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds. So they're all there. This one I should only have 9 because I actually had a misfire back there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're all there. As you can see, my group is significantly better without the magnifier at 100. I don't know why that is. Maybe a parallax issue or something like that. But for whatever reason, this was just the Holosun ACSS, and then this was the Holosun ACSS with the magnifier behind it. Those were my results at the 100-yard line. Get you guys a little bit closer look here so you can see. With magnifier, without magnifier. All right, guys, so now we're gonna push it back to the 200-yard line and see what kind of results we're getting there. So let's check it out. All right, guys, so this is the results of the 200. So unfortunately, I'm suffering from a full value wind right now while I'm shooting in relation to where the target is and from where I'm shooting from. So it's definitely taking my groups and pushing them off to the right. So I noticed that the wind is blowing off some of my stickies here. So it's definitely playing a huge factor. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back there and I'm gonna make a wind call, and I'm gonna see where these my new next impacts are, you know, after this wind call. So let's go ahead and reshoot this and see how it goes. All right, round 2. Guys, so that was my second string of fire at the 200. I made a wind call this time. I held essentially on the edge of the target. So with the magnifier, that definitely put me in. All my rounds are there. I've had a few of these little stickies blow off, but I've counted at least 10 rounds. I don't see any outside of the target here. So pretty good on the magnifier. Definitely a plus, 200 yards and more. So nice crisp reticle with the magnifier. and you definitely see your BDC dots a lot more. From the 200 and in, use the tip of the chevron with this Holosun. So that I found that very, very easy to utilize, and it reminded me a lot of the cycle. But not too bad, guys. For the most part, all of these, even with the heavy wind, once I made that wind adjustment, are in this very innermost diamond. I've got a few outside of it, but for the most part, right here, they're all kill shots. Every single one of these are kill shots in the chest. I'm going to take this little terrorist fucker down. So good deal with that. So moving on over here, non-magnified optic. Just using the Holosun ACSS without the magnifier. It looks like I dropped 2, and I had 2 outside of the innermost diamond. Oh, 3 outside of the innermost diamond. But same thing, I held on the edge of the target here. So the vast majority is going to be kill shots, with the exception of these 2 out here. But not bad, guys. 200 yards with a non-magnified optic. These 2 are the only 2 that were outside of the target on that string of fire. So let's move on to the combat engagement course and see how we do with a little shooting and moving.
Contact runner!
Alright guys, that concludes the combat engagement course, and pretty good. I'll take that. So the vast majority of the rounds here are inside this bigger diamond, and that's pretty much, you know, vital organs, everything else. So that's all death right there. I'm liking it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that aren't in this diamond right here, and that's pretty good. I would imagine that these are probably when I was walking and shooting, and then obviously all of these are pistol rounds. Pretty freaking good, guys. Freaking 200 yards and in, definitely. Holosun ACSS. Unfortunately, I can't push it out to 300, 400, 500 yards to try out all that, but you know, it is what it is. I would say that definitely with the magnifier, it definitely enhances this ACSS reticle that's in this Holosun. No question whatsoever. When you're looking at it, without the magnifier, the BDC, you know, are a little bit hard to see. But you know, 200 yards and in, you don't need that. You just need the chevron. So it is what it is. And with the magnifier, those BDCs are not hard to see whatsoever. It just makes it into almost like a variables optic at that point, or like an ACOG with this 3x magnifier. So pretty freaking good, guys. I like it. It was definitely easy to acquire my target on the move, running and gunning during this combat engagement course with this setup here. And then this Palmetto State Armory AR, you know, I bought this whole rifle right here, minus the optics, for under $400. That's freaking ridiculous. So, you know, and this is what I'm getting out of it. So that's pretty good. Under $400 AR, and, you know, it's able to slay bodies like this, 200 yards and in. So, thumbs up, guys. Thumbs up. Good stuff. And we'll move on to my closing statement here. Well, that's it, guys. I had a great time filming this review, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. You can't go wrong with an optic that features an ACSS reticle. I've done several reviews already on different optics that feature ACSS reticles. If you're interested in any of those, be sure to check out the links I've posted in the comment section. Going through those links will give you free shipping on your order, plus depending on which optic it is, usually comes with something free like a scope mount or an anti-reflection device. If you just go to the normal website, you won't get those deals. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you find the right optic that suits you best. Keep fighting the good fight, and Semper Fidelis.